this glass slipper that we have here that Cinderella might have lost somewhere. We found it.
Yeah, we found it. And we've tried it on. It doesn't fit us. So I wonder, does it fit you? Does it? Is it yours?
Is it yours?
Does this mean Prince Charming is somewhere waiting? Okay, nimewacha.
Hi, Prince Charming. Whatever you are, this could be yours. But today on Trendy Thursday, so we're talking about the entire process of doing what?
Of making glass.
Yes.
It's a beautiful space, and the science between it is very, very fascinating.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And just to think such a fragile thing is such a strong thing as well. It's such a timeless thing, but yet very, very fragile.
And even the process of making it is very delicate. Like, you have to be very attentive. Your mind, your body, your soul, and everything else.
Everything.
in between.
We're not just talking about it today. We're going to be showing you.
Yes, and also attempting
to
make one.
When is it Jui Kama Nikona where we are attempting?
Me, I'm going to. I am going to. Because you know why? Do you know how many wine glasses I have broken in my home? And even friends coming to my place and breaking my wine glasses.
Now when you put it that way, I might just need to try.
Right?
Yes.
So I'm going to attempt to make one today and see, and appreciate more, the entire process of making something, into a beautiful, piece of art. And just in case you're wondering, where are you ladies at? Because as you can see, it's a beautiful space. We're surrounded by glass. So where are we? Where are we?
We're at Kitengela Glass.
Yes.
And let me tell you, just the journey to get here is adventure by itself. It is such a serene, beautiful place, and it is full of glass. I just walked up a ramp made of glass.
Made of glass, yes.
Made of glass.
And if you've ever been here, you understand what we're talking about. Sometimes you're like,
yeah.
But no, you won't. No, you won't. Okay. Yeah. And like we kindly said, so it's going to be an amazing day today, right here on the show. You want to stick around. The question that we have today. What's the question?
God,
I'm so excited about the question.
Yeah, so in the process of glass making, there's something called glass blowing. And we are asking you, what is the other name for glass blowing? That's it. It's simple. It's straightforward. It is right there. What is the other name for glass blowing?
And as you prepare to be blown away, see what I did there?
I know.
See what I did there?
Snap.
We have a special guest. I need to put this glass slipper where it's very delicate. So we handle with care. Do you want to join us? Hi, Carol. Please.
Carol,
yes. It's so good to see you. Thank you so much for allowing us into your space.
Yeah.
Because we walked in, we're like, we're not leaving. I'm not leaving.
How?
To us here, but we're not leaving.
There's a shop downstairs.
Yeah, and it's very cold outside. But let me tell you, the cold, the rain will not stop the show.
Has nothing on us.
It has nothing on us, because we need to understand the entire process. So Carol, thank you so much for making the time. Ebu kwanza ambia watu wenye tuma salamu, wambie we nani,
unafanya nini wapi.
Okay, so hi guys, my name is Carol Thethi. I'm a customer service here at Kitengela Hot Class, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying being here.
Yes, we are.
Yeah,
we are.
Yeah, that's me. And hi to my family members.
Yay!
Wanna watch live and direct?
Wanna watch?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, they better. Come on, watch.
This is where you're at every day, Carol.
Yes, I am.
Surrounded by all this beauty. Kila siku kiamka.
Yes.
I don't need any other motivation. It's just a beautiful space. I will wake up and go.
Yeah, and the peace.
And the peace as well.
The peace,
very, very tranquil.
How long have you been in this industry or at Kitengela Hot Glass?
So this is my third year.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is that one thing that fascinated you the most? After before we understand the entire journey and the entire process,
yes.
You know the first time you came and you're like, hiya. What is that one thing that fascinated you about glass and the entire process?
The entire process.
Yes.
So basically, I'm sort of someone who loves making things out of, basically sort of saving the environment, if you may say. And the first time that I came here and I saw that we are recycling or making something beautiful out of glass, that was my give.
Selling point.
My selling point. So, and also getting to see how the glass is done, which we'll get to see later, how you seeing the entire process.
Yeah.
And also getting to make an item out of that,
Yeah.
it's just in another level.
Have you attempted to
Yes,
make?
I have.
Really?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
was the first thing you
Well,
did?
it's not as easy as you will see them do.
It's not as easy.
It's not as easy, but it's a wonderful process.
Oh, I
It's
see.
a wonderful process, and you getting something that you've actually made, a bowl, a cup, whatever you make. It's just something out of this world, if I may say.
Kwenye nyumba yako kuna glass by wine by Carol.
Right?
Yeah,
I know.
You do?
I do.
This is the person we need to.
Yes, this is.
You're already friend yet from today henceforth. It's like we're not leaving you because we want to also learn and appreciate. Because most of the time we see these beautiful pieces of art. We have vase, vase,
Which, however you call it.
however you call it,
Yes.
at home. We have glasses. We have wine. We have.
Many
Anything that is
things,
made of
yeah.
glass, but we don't really get to understand. First of all, ikitu ilitengezwaje by the time inafika hapa.
Yes.
This morning when I put our poster out that will be here today, one of my friends actually said, you know what? I have glasses from Kitengela Glass and they've lasted 13 years.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm like, okay.
Tutawacha kwenda kwenye tunaenda kununua glasses.
At this point. Yeah.
Mnafaa kuja hapa.
Right? So
Quite
durability and quality. But really, so what makes a good quality glass? Because again, like you said, you've been here for 3 years. You have tried to make, you've made. So you understand?
Tried to make.
And you, so you know the entire process. So I'm pretty sure we kule huko hata ukienda kwa supermarkets or any retail shop, you can look at a glass and say, nah, this one good, right? Yeah.
So what I can say, the most fascinating part about the glasses that we do here is, one, they are not, if I may say, they're not of a specific quantity, because you see they're handmade,
Yes.
and that makes it more adorable or more beautiful.
All right.
The fact that you cannot specifically say that it will come out in a certain size. We can try. So what we say, we make similar to, but we do not make exact copy.
The pieces are very unique.
Yes.
So it's
Yes,
like
that's
you
Not
have
like
an entire
industry produced,
limited edition. Zangu tu ni limited.
Yeah. And then, well, it comes with experience. So as these guys continue making, like you can't specifically say that by next week I'll be a pro in this.
No.
So it comes slowly as you continue
learn.
progressing and making it, and that makes it more beautiful, and that makes it more, our glasses more special. Because with every year, each and every glass blower becomes perfect. And
okay, it's like an ongoing learning process.
That is beautiful.
And also you get to sort of create your own design if you want.
Okay.
You get.
Okay.
So as they continue making it, and they sort of have an idea of what they want to have,
So you can be creative and fly with whatever.
Yeah.
When
And
you've
that's
seen a
what.
shoe.
Yeah. And that's what makes our products more beautiful, and that is what keeps us going.
Yeah.
Every new design, every day, every new mind. And that's it.
Now, I'm curious because I have seen, as you prepare for this glass blowing, experience. Yeah, because I was like, you know what? Mind, everything starts with the mind. So start preparing your mind for what you're going to see. Because I've been here before and I was scared to actually go into the furnace. I was like, hey, that Nichomeke, that cannot be me. But then again, when you watch these videos, you're like, this is very fascinating. So I'm curious because like you said, you heard about, environment and how, whatever is done here helps to conserve the environment in one way or the other. And you're like, yep. That's sold you. What about it? What aspects of environmentally friendly process is here that drew you in that is different from the other glass blowing processes out there?
So, well, right. I wouldn't say that we have so many glass blowing industries in Kenya.
That's true.
So, this is
like the
major one. Yes, right? The major one. So, the fact that this is something that I hadn't had elsewhere
before,
and you come and realize that we can actually make something out of broken glass, out of waste. You get? What people term as waste is something
you collect that dirt and
it's
make
a diamond
something precious.
It's something precious. And and seeing the entire process from the people that wash the glasses, prepare the glasses, and put them in the furnace, where you'll get to see where the furnace is at the temperatures and all, and making the items out of that. And now to the salespeople that actually sell these things, you know, take pictures, post them and all. It's actually an entire beautiful process.
So then where do you get your glasses from? Right?
So, majorly we get our glasses from construction sites.
Okay.
Yes, and also there are people that bring them in.
Oh.
Yeah, so we have the clear glasses that we get from construction sites, and also we can also do things like soda bottles, the green, because we have two types of glasses.
All right.
Now the clear glasses, and we have what we call pot colors. So the pot colors are already colored bottles.
Yes.
And that is probably like the Crest bottles,
Stony, Tangawizi.
yeah, such that will make the gold or the green.
Okay.
And those ones are now heated separately to form items on their own. But the clear glasses, we can add our own color.
Oh, interesting.
What do you mean add your own color? What does that mean? Is it like other little tiny metals in those color glasses in those colors, or you have to color them?
Yeah, we have to color them. Okay. So we the color is a food safe glass powder that we use. Food safe glass food powder that we use. We use to add in the clear glass. So because with it's limited, with pot colors it's limited. We can only sort of get a green or a turquoise or probably gold. But if we would add color, you see we now have red, we now have yellow, we have black. Yes, so that's where we have now the food safe glass powder coming in. But those ones now we import. They are not found locally.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Is there like a quality that is not acceptable? I'm all glass from wherever. If I vunja mine, and people who bring here, do they bring and then they get something back? You know, I'm just asking for a friend.
Well, considering that, it's something that we are helping you clear. From your home, like from the street. And also once it's brought here, you can imagine the entire process of recycling. It's quite costly. You get the buying, because we also have to buy the gas, the oil, engine oil that we use. We have the electricity, and also the production is also quite costly.
Quite high.
It's quite high. So what we do is receive your glasses and make something out of them.
So there's no vetting of any sort?
No, we do vet. We do that because we also understand that some glasses that have some aspect of lead oxide in them that are harmful. So we usually have the people that do that.
So what would that look like? Is there like a specific, say, because again, there's so many glasses out there, you know, like you said, from, you know, the sodas to whatnot, to dirisha imevunjika mtu ana collect and sema so but you look at it at face value and say, this one, this one, well, maybe we can, you know.
But then again, we wouldn't send it away, because we can also make something out of that. Because we also have, it doesn't necessarily have to be heated. We can also make wind chimes out of them. You know the wind chimes? We can also, if there are wine bottles that have that sticker in it and cannot be heated, with that one we can make what we call slump bottles. So slump bottles are sort of mats. They are slammed to make sort of a
a coaster kind of thing.
We use it as a coaster. So basically here, what we say is nothing is wasted, everything is recycled.
So when is ikiingia basi toki zinatoka zikiwa something else.
Yes. Now, so the environmental safety aspect of this, because like you said, recycling helps to preserve the environment. Can we talk about glass and its impact in the environment? Zikiacho tu zimetupwa everywhere. What will that do to the environment that you hold so dear to your heart, that you protect for the sake of our children in future? Can you talk about the impact of just scattered glass everywhere in the environment?
So one, which is probably quite obvious, that with these ones we have these are places that we'll want to sort of farm. these are places that will also want to sort of dig boreholes later on. These are places that we would want to build.
Have our kids play around.
Yeah. And you can imagine the effect.
Yeah.
And it will cause to every place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And having this actually helps clear all that.
That's true. Yeah.
And do you have like other outlets, like people who have, who cannot access this place, but then they are also like have the cost in them to just, take care of the environment? Are there other places or what are they called? Depositing points where they can bring those and then now you go pick up?
Currently, we do not have.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's something that what we do, we on our reception can call, and it's something like the glass viable. Then we can just organize on how we can pick it.
Okay. All right. You see, to you, I see such a beautiful.
You come on.
Look at that. Hey, Ukali is like, hey, careful. Okay, ulikula ugali asubuhi. Did you?
Do you want to?
Now, my question is, you see, for this glass, it's heavy. Will you be okay? Okay, just hold for a sec, okay? And then you see like all this color. And then zinaka ziko uko ndani. Haziko juu.
So you can't rub them off.
Yes, and like you said, sometimes you have to color, your own. Once you receive, say, glasses that are clear. Yeah. So for something like this, ndio to purchase this beautiful masterpiece. What is this process like? Because now I'm like, where?
This is beautiful.
And it's like different patterns.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that intricate, detailed process that goes into? I know we'll talk to the glass experts a little bit later. But from what you've seen,
well, it's something that everyone can learn.
Okay, cool.
So with this one, this is one of unique pieces.
It's very unique.
It's very unique
and very beautiful.
And this we call marine vase. And what happens is, this one's basically, you see these shapes, they are made separately.
Really?
Yes, the designs are made separately.
Okay.
And then now there's a way that they align them and make the shapes. So in the we call it a mava, sort of a table.
Okay.
That is,
we'll see
you will see it. Yeah. So they make it, they form a mava, and then now hit the formed glasses. Then once they've heated it, they go and scoop now the clear glass and roll it over the already formed shape. And now they continue heating it and now molding it to form this beautiful piece. Yeah. Well, this is something that you'll get to see once we now go to the
this
other
is
side.
Beautiful. But I will not lie.
It is heavy. And that's the thing that they say about beautiful and unique pieces. The process, it's a very intricate, delicate process. But at the same time, you get to appreciate such work of art. And like you said, he was a pattern like 10 or set. Tunataka set. Tunataka 12. Hazitafanana because of how unique the entire process is.
I am curious to find out, really, because we're here and we're eager to learn. Are the doors here open to teach other people or is it a business I can try huko kwetu Kekumene? Can I come here and learn? Is it possible?
Yeah, it is possible. It is possible, but this is a process that you'll have. We also need to know how your level of interest, or like they come in, the blowers come in as apprentice, an
apprentice,
and they learn as they work. You get, because it's not something that you can do. You can decide I'm going to do it for 3 months.
3 months.
You're here. Sasa mimi niende nikafungue yangu. It's not possible. This is something that you need to learn, and it's something that you need to have passion about. Glass blowing is not just for everyone. You have to have passion and zeal to get to know such items, and you have to also have an artistic mind. You get
creativity. Because me, I'm looking around. I'm like, hey, there's that one's G-shaped like what? And then there's this one. This is like wine glasses. You only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I was about to say ni set
8, 9. They call 9. What are they called? it's a chandelier of some sorts, which is, and this other one as well.
Look at this. And then there's these, and then it's like
it's so beautiful.
Yeah, you need to tap into your
creative space.
That's your creative space to come up with such unique pieces.
And I know kuna heat is involved. And Winnie has been talking about this heat since we woke up. Like asubuhi yako tu uko kuna joto moto inawaka uko ndani. So also safety is key when it comes to that. So maybe that process, is it open? What are some of the measures that are taken that could make sure that that particular space, and I'm sure we'll meet the expert who's probably going to tell us more about that. Maybe you can just highlight it.
Well,
no, it's okay. Yeah.
So what happens is these people usually have breaks in between them making the entire process. So they can do like a 1 hour and a half, they go for a 30 minutes break.
Okay.
And also they have to stay hydrated. You'll get to see that each one of them has water bottle.
Yeah, true.
To believe that
They
this is
have
hot.
to keep taking water. Keep taking water.
Okay.
But considering that we have people that have been there for over 25 years, over 20, it's something.
Safe.
Yeah, it's safe.
Now here's the thing. Kuna blower na kuna wale nonanga wanashikilia hivi kitu alafu wanazungusha hivi and then inapelekwa kwa mwingine anakata hivi. Mwingine azia anafanya hivi. So it's like it needs to have a team of people, because mtu mmoja haezi fanya just to come up with that glass slipper ama that bowl that we've seen. So it involves a lot of
teamwork.
People. Yes.
And teamwork. And they also have to sort of completely work in harmony.
All right.
You get?
Yes.
Yeah, because in the entire process of making an item, there are those items that can begin from one table or one desk to the final one, probably the fifth or the sixth. So they sort of have to work in synchrony.
In harmony.
In harmony.
Alafu kwa karibu na moto na ni glass moto. So really, kama umekosana na mtu like, sorry.
I'm still trying to be convinced to get into that place with you.
It's actually interesting.
It is. Okay, cool.
Are you sure you want to miss? Like Mikali umetoka all the way Masaku.
Makueni, Masaku ni lobby.
Masaku ni lobby. Makueni.
Yes.
Alafu uogope.
It's still go. I promise to try.
But so we're about to go on a break. Thank you so much, Carol, for taking us through the entire process of just understanding, first of all, glass. Natwa wapi, the recycling aspect of it, which is good for the environment and good for the people as well. And now, when we come back from the break, now we'd want to understand. Sasa, heat ni kiasi gani? Because ukishika ile moto yako ya gas hivi kidogo unachomeka. So how much heat is required to melt the already made glass ile ikakuwa broken into pieces? How much heat is required? And the entire process of blowing up until you get such, beautiful shapes of some of the pieces that we're seeing here. Well, we'll find out after the break. Lakini, we have a question for you.
And the question is, what is the other name for glass blowing?
Well,
NTV Kenya on all our social media platforms. Please tuambie, we'll be checking out your answers, and of course you have the experts. They'll be letting us know what is the answer. Don't go too far. We'll be right back.
Umesharudisha hii afisi. Kwa hivyo utasikia. There's a lot is happening here today on the show that is on Trendy Thursday as we show you and take you through the entire process of glass blowing. And just in case you're wondering where you guys at, and Winnie, what happened to your kikoi? Listen, it's hot. And I had to take off some layers just to be comfortable. But it's all about the art of glass blowing. And the question that we're asking people today, Mikale, is...
what is the other name for glass blowing? And Mabel has the answer. Amekataa kutupatia mwa Kenya. If you know the answer, NTV Kenya on all our social media platforms, and we'll be checking out your feedback. Kuna mtu amesema inaitwa blowing glass. I'm like, really, be creative. You can do better than that.
Blowing glass. Okay, but don't worry, because we have experts here today who will help us really understand what is all these names, but really the delicate and intricate process that it takes for you to actually see the beautiful masterpiece that you see, across the room in your houses, I'm pretty sure. But right about now, we are joined by a glass expert. I want to say Pro Max. Because he's actually the one responsible for training so many glass blowers right here at Kitengela Glass. So, hi, Ansel.
Hello, ladies.
How are you doing?
Very well indeed, thank you.
All right. So, first of all, tell people your full names in case someone wants to know, okay, who's that guy who's the expert Pro Max as far as glass blowing? And tell them what you do here.
Pro Max implies a wider screen, I think. I'm Anselm Crows, and this is Kitengela Glass.
All right, so let's understand glass, okay? What is glass made of? A lot of people actually ask that question. What is glass made of? Because I've seen some people use sand, but for Kitengela Glass particularly use recycled glass, which is fantastic. So help us understand glass. What is it? What is it made of?
It's basically sand. Glass is made of sand, but sand has a very high melting point, and so we reduce that melting point with a flux, like soda ash. So you mix sand and soda ash and a few other chemicals, and then a reaction occurs at about 1700 Celsius, and then you've created your glass. We don't cook glass from batch. That's what it's called, to cook it from scratch. As you just said, we recycle. There's some nice shots of wheelbarrows full of taka-taka there that we are going to be melting later this evening. It doesn't need quite so much energy to melt recycled glass, so it's kind of an energy saver in that regard. Yeah.
Now, so take us through the entire process from the time you receive glass to beautiful pieces that we've seen around. We continue to see, I mean, look at over there, glasses everywhere. So what is that process like from point A to point zero? Because you're the expert here.
Well, thank you. We'll go with James here, who's one of my gaffers. He's going to start, and we're going to make a vase, which I'll grab.
Yes, we have a vase somewhere. We'll show you. Yes.
And he'll take us from beginning to end on this vase in the actual.
All right. Oh yes, look at this. Okay, I need to be careful. This is heavy, but this is such a beautiful piece of work.
Decorative technique called combing, which he will be doing. Yeah. If you turn around and look at the wheelbarrow behind there, we can see the raw material. You're about to fall off. So. Behind us, we can focus onto the.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what we're using. That was put into the furnace last night, and it's been melting overnight, and is now sitting there at a nice 1180 degrees. And we're going to get James to start.
Okay. All right. Yes. So James will start. So what exactly do they do? What is the starting point for glass making?
So the sorted broken glass thrown into the furnace, melted to a nice kind of honey-like consistency.
Okay, all right, just one of these.
And honey-like consistency, and then we have the mass that we can use in the course of the day. We will dip in our blowing pipe, like picking up honey on a teaspoon, actually, and then form it into whatever shape it is that we want to make. So that's actually what we're going to start doing now.
And we have our camera person following, whatever he's doing in there. So even as we talk about this, so how much heat are we talking about? Because, again, an already made glass being melted now into, it melts, first of all, and then you're able to blow it into whatever shape that you want. How much heat are we talking about? Like, how hot is this place?
It has to be over 1100 degrees Celsius to melt properly, to be soft enough to work. Our material, actually the window and bottle glass that we use, isn't really designed for handworking. So it stiffens in a shorter temperature range. It means that we have to be more fast, actually. So we have to work a little bit rougher, a little bit more accepting of what might be regarded as imperfections in the industry, like tool marks or variations in thickness or the occasional bubble. We have absorbed that into the ethos of our pieces. If you look behind you now, you can see the first gather has arrived. So he's got a fresh gather out of the furnace, and he's got his piece of wet newspaper here, and he's shaping the glass with the wet newspaper. It makes a layer of steam where it touches the glass, and this is the same principle as ice skating. So if you're ice skating, you're melting the ice layer, and you've got a nice slippery surface of water to slide on. Same thing's happening here, except it's a slippery layer of steam. that he's forming. This is the closest that you come to actually touching the material. The purpose of this exercise is to kind of get control of the gob on the end of the blowpipe, to give it a little bit of surface tension, to make it a nice egg shape. And now he's blowing a bubble. And this is where the name glassblowing or blowing glass comes from, whatever your viewers care to. I look forward, by the way, to the to the responses. So you can see the bubble has been popped into the piece there, and all of the pieces that we make are made in this same way.
Now, you see, I'm curious. Newspaper is like paper, and then the heat is like too much. So how safe is he that he doesn't burn himself?
Actually, surprisingly safe. The paper's a very robust insulator, and it doesn't really burn away, but you will feel warm before that, and not hot like burning yourself. You'll just feel it's a little bit too hot to use because the layers have been diminished. The whole process is actually quite attritive. It eats away at everything, so the paper, but also all the tools and the blowpipes, and actually the furnace itself all gets eaten in the cores of melting glass and blowing it.
Yeah, so I'd say he's like sort of like doing it in stages. The first batch came, sort of like shaped it and grew a little bit, and then now his second bag. What's happening?
So there's multiple things happening. I need to just see where he is. This is exciting. He's taking another gather. He's building a large piece, and so he needs to be able to get successive layers of glass on top of the piece. So he had to wait for his bubble to cool down so it was stiff enough to gather on top of, because otherwise he would have lost control. What's happening now is that outer layer of glass that he's collected is rapidly melting the inner bubble, which is what we want. We want it to sort of homogenize and everything to become sort of soft and fluid and workable, but under control, because he's kind of holding it with the paper and making sure it doesn't get away from him.
So how many times is he going to do sort of like the gathers?
I think this is the last one. Utachukua gather ingine?
Okay. So is it dependent? What dictates how many times or how many gathers he has to take? Is it the size, is it the shape?
The size of the object. It's how big do you want it to be, basically.
All right.
And also, actually, the temperature of the glass dictates how much glass comes onto the pipe. You can control it, and you can drop some off if there's too much, or he could take that back in and take another gather on top of it. He's making a really sort of giant piece, which we will probably not do today. This will be big enough for the purposes of demonstration. Well, you can imagine something. Actually, you can imagine something of that weight at the end of the pipe. So you've got a whole kind of leverage situation where you're handling a hot, floppy thing that is, 4 or 5 kilos at the end of the pipe. You have to really be quite fit, actually.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because it's heavy. We held that, and it's very, very heavy. So, and you see what he's doing now. So he's not blowing. He's just blowing it.
He's just chilling. He's literally chilling the piece. He's allowing the piece to cool down. He's probably waiting for his assistant to bring him some of the color deco. So we're going to decorate this in a very old school technique. We're going to put a couple of spirals on. Yeah. We've got a little bit of color powder that's the same compatibility as the glass that we use, and this is boring but important. So Michelle, who is one of our 2 lady glass blowers, by the way, something I'm very proud of. We've broken the patriarchal ceiling in that regard. So, it took 30 years. She's setting up the color spiral, which is basically like a pencil of molten glass that you're going to draw with. So the gaffer or artisan there could decide how he wants to draw with this, and he could squiggle it, or one of the oldest and most kind of this is Elizabeth, my other lady glass blower. So the spiral is something that is particularly satisfying to watch. And actually, by the way, you see that everything looks orange. It isn't. It's orange because of the heat. We can tell pretty much the temperature of this object by how orange or red or yellow it is. So you can see how it's getting darker, then that's now cooling down. So it'll get brighter the hotter it gets. And then the color will come out once the thing has gotten below like 700 degrees.
Fantastic. So then how quickly does it cool, or how slow? Yeah, is that a specific time?
Generally too quickly, actually, for us, because this is why we're always in a hurry kind of to work within the window of plasticity. Here comes Michelle with the other spiral. We're putting a double color spiral on here.
Very satisfying to
It kind of is, actually. Traditionally, back in the old days, they did these spirals, it is said, to give ridges on the edge of a glass, this outside of a glass, so that if you were at a medieval feast and your fingers got greasy, you were less likely to drop the glass because of your slippery hands. So important now, he's gone back to reheat. He's put his 2 color spirals on. This is the beginning of the decorative process. So we now have a red and a blue, I guess. I would have to tell, or maybe a yellow. Well, actually, it's red and yellow looking at the sample. And that's now a spiral around the piece. Now we have to comb it, which is an old Egyptian decorative trick. He's got a little tool there that's kind of like a toothpick with a hook. But he has to get the piece hot enough because it already was too cold to work with. So it goes back into what we call the glory hole, and it's a gas reheating point. Make it nice and fluid and plastic again, and you'll see when he comes in a second or two that it's all moving again, and that's the point at which he will start the combing.
So you've trained pretty much all these people, I want to believe, working here, and with the ladies, yay ladies. So what was that like? What got you first of all into this industry, for you to pass on the knowledge that you have to other people?
It was a sort of organic process, actually. My mother was doing stained glass, and we needed to make some flat glass for her stained glass process, and importing colored glass was very expensive. So we saw all these wine bottles and beer bottles and thought, why can't we make those into here's the combing, by the way. Make those into story, and then we'll come back. Okay, so here you see it coming. You can see how fast it's cooling down already, how it's stiffening up. He might get 2 combs in. He's going to go back in, reheat it again, so that he can comb it perhaps the other way.
It cooks really quickly, yes.
So the idea was then, make flat glass. How do we make flat glass? Well, we'll have to melt it somehow. So I went on a course and saw how, because we didn't have any idea that you could actually melt glass. And when I was on the course, I realized that there was a whole bunch of other things that we could do. Yes, we could make the flat glass, but I was completely captivated by the kind of magic of the process. And then it occurred to me that in our Kenyan craft environment, there is everything from wood to ceramics to metal to juakali shoes. I mean, just you name it. There's talented people beading things to great detail, but no glass. And so I thought that it would be really kind of a good mission to get glass embedded into our craft environment. So that's been kind of my thrust for the last 30 years. He's finished his combing. He's got now the 4. You can see how it makes a lovely sort of feathered design.
Can we just leave it like that? Because it looks really, really good.
We could stop at any stage, and that's part of the making of an object. If you're making a closed object, you're stopping when it's still quite narrow and closed, but you can, as we're going to do for that, open the whole thing up into that shape there, which we will save the magic for when it happens.
Right. So ideally, how long does it take? Because I know you talked about the fact that it's an intricate process, yes, but ideally, how long does it take to come up with such a beautiful piece as that? Very quickly before we go.
To make the actual object itself, or to learn how to make the object? To learn how to make the object, anywhere from 3 to 10 years. And to make the actual object itself, depends on the complexity. So this is a relatively low to mid complexity piece. Maybe half an hour, 45 minutes. Also depends on how many people we split the task into. So if I've got somebody gathering for him and setting him up the color piece, then I can cut down his time on how long it takes him. By the way, he's
but yes, just tell us as we take that break, what is happening here now?
He's just smoothed it on the marver, so he sort of squashed that spiral into the body of the piece to make it all kind of nice and homogeneous and flat, actually. And here Elizabeth is jacking in the neck. That's very important. That's where the piece will come off once we finish shaping the base.
And then he's blowing, so it's...
And he's inflating at the same time. So there's quite a lot of things happening.
And
Michelle is cooling the bottom to keep it thicker.
To keep it thicker.
Because we want a nice thick base.
And you say what? The material looks small compared to what we're going to achieve, but again, I think that is the reason why we're saying it's magic.
It'll grow.
Continues to blow. Okay, so let's take a break and then what the process looks like. I'm pretty sure Mikali has a lot of feedback from the question that we're asking you today, and that is, what do you think is the other name for glass blowing? Okay, our producer Mipod is like, I'm not going to give you a leakage, and at least someone gets it right. Okay, so keep sending in your views on our WhatsApp number 0112 500 400 or at NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on X. I am curious to learn, so maybe I might be trying some bit of blowing here and there. Well, you never know, but see you on the other side of the break.
Welcome back to your world. We are at Kitengela Hot Glass, and I'm telling you, the kind of heat I'm feeling from over here, I understand why Winnie threw away the scarf. And we have Anselm here who's been taking us through the process of making a beautiful, beautiful vase that's over there. And I don't know what's happening right now, but I know it's gone back into the furnace.
It's being reheated.
Uh-huh.
And now he's using gravity to elongate the piece.
Okay.
So you can see it getting nice and long there. Our whole process is a constant dance with gravity. We're always kind of controlling the piece not falling off the object. So we have a setup here where Michelle is flattening the base nicely so that the object will stand on a shelf without falling off. We always work a piece basically backwards. We finish the bottom half first, and then we have to transfer it, take it off the whole blowpipe arrangement so that we can work on the mouth. So when he's satisfied with his piece, that it's nice and flat, checks it with his jacks. By the way, all these tools and systems and techniques are all very archaic. They're 1,500, 2,000 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What does that particular one do? The one that looks like a huge clipper?
They're called jacks.
Oh, yeah, the jacks. What do they do?
They shape and cut. Actually, they cut the neck. So you see him putting a little bit of water on the jack line there. Yeah. That creates a weakness in this arrangement, a deliberate, a considered weakness. So because the water is hitting the glass and basically causing it to crack. What's coming now is called a punty. This is now the transfer. This looks very casual, this process. It actually isn't. There's a whole play of temperatures happening here. It has to be hot enough to stick well on the bottom. And
are we adding anything to it? What's happening?
Now we're transferring the piece. Now we're taking the piece off. We are going to give the blowpipe a sharp tap, thus, and break it deliberately. And now it's on the punty, which is strong enough to hold the object, but is weak enough to break off later. So that's the kind of delicate temperature play that we're after. And that piece that he just cracked off is cold and jagged. And so now back into the glory hole to reheat again.
Yeah.
Until it's soft and plastic, and then we decide what to do. So we could have this closed shape, the one that you saw there, but nicely melted in, maybe a closed mouth ikebana vase or something, or we could open it up partway to a sort of cylinder, or we can further open it up into a plate kind of shape. It's hard to open such a long shape into a plate, but we can do the top half at least, and then that gives us a big flat disc that we can create that floppy effect with.
Wait, how long does it take for one to learn this process and be as good as everyone is? And then we'll talk about the safety measures, because as you can see, everyone is wearing the same kind of protective kind of shoes. They're having gloves, they have shades on. So you can tell us about that, but how long does it take?
It really depends on individual aptitude. Some people, like Elizabeth actually, has jumped into it, and she will be world class in another year. And she's been at it for 3. Some people take 10 years. Yeah, and the thing is, it's not like you reach a point and then it's like, yes, now I know what I'm doing. You're always learning in glassblowing. There's always a new trick or some way of shaving seconds here or there, or some other little dance that you can do. So it's a learning process until the end.
Oh, great. And here it comes. What's happening now?
So he's melted it in. He's got Elizabeth opening, Michelle controlling the lip there. James is doing the turning.
Yeah. Is it going to look like it's going to open up like that? So it's a dance of going back into the fire?
We basically need to keep it as hot as we can without losing control. So we want the piece to be as plastic, as movable as possible all the time. It makes our work easier. It's really hard to work glass when it's stiff and cold.
I think that is something that we should learn as human beings to control ourselves and not to, work when things are really hard. But like I said, the protective gear is something that probably we need to talk about. As you can see, they're all wearing sunglasses and all of that. Maybe you can tell us about some of other measures that people should take care of, even as they come to visit, because Winnie clearly is concerned if she'll be able to walk in there with what she's wearing.
I want to put her on the bench.
Yes, please do that.
So protective gear, it's a sort of balance, really, because the more stuff you wear, the more gloves and like face shields and body armor, the more you distance yourself from your object. And it's a very up close and personal process, glassmaking. You really want to be as close to the material so that you can make the thing that you want to make. Obviously, if you're working... Oh, sorry, we've now missed the opening here.
What? Oh, wow.
So, just in a nutshell, that's kind of hard to time for TV, but what happened there was that he heated, and the centrifugal force of him spinning caused the piece to open up into a flat disc. When you swing said disc on the bottom of your vase, then the gravity pulls it, and it's called the handkerchief effect, like what you would get if you pull up a handkerchief by the middle, and you get this lovely sort of folded kind of deal. So, and there's their party trick of showing you still how hot the piece is, by the way. Even though by our standards it's cold, we can't do any more to this. It has to now go to the cooling oven, which is one of these two big Jikos that you see behind you here. And there, it's like a garage. All of the objects of the day are going to get parked in there. It's 520 centigrade, again, boring but important. This is it's cold for glass workers, hot by anybody else's standards. But that's kind of like the critical temperature that we can start the cooling process at in the evening when we start bringing these ovens down.
How long should it be in there for it to be like a complete piece of art?
It'll come out of the oven tomorrow, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's kind of our cycle that we've, over decades, worked out. It also varies according to the thickness of the piece. The thicker the piece, the longer you should anneal it.
Okay, I'm just looking at it. Big boobs there.
And in it goes, yeah.
There it goes.
And we're not going to see that again until tomorrow. Wow. And then we, fingers crossed, that it comes out, because there's still many a slip twixt the cup and the lip. We could, maybe the person taking it out bangs it on the door, or the punty process wasn't quite right and it was too cold, then we'll have a crack on the bottom.
Knowing what this place is, it's not like it's a waste, because it can be recycled into something else.
Absolutely.
And so now I understand what Carol was saying, because that particular piece, if we put it next to this particular piece, it's not the same. It really isn't. It has the same kind of structure, but it's not it. Over the years of doing this, Anselm, would you say you have that one piece that is your ultimate, absolute masterpiece that you probably hold on to now, and you're just like, I know I have made other pieces, but this one is dear to my heart?
I have to say that history draws a veil, and my approach to my pieces is largely, once they're made and finished and perhaps sold, hopefully, then they're out of my life. Then I don't think about them anymore. So because there's always another thing to do. Yeah. So there isn't one really. The next one, let me say.
The next one will be the big one. Yeah. And Ansel, unaongea Kiswahili kabisa, na ningetaka pia watu wasikie hivyo, kwa sababu kuna a lot of Kenyan artwork imetumiwa to put it into the pieces. Kiswahili yangu pia imeenda out the door. But you know what I mean? Like, what kind of Kenyan aspects have been put in there? I've seen some have beads, have beadwork in them. We've seen little tiny crystals.
Shanga is a big thing for us. The language of beads, swali ya shanga, tuseme. If you look at my garden jewelry, they're all just giant beads. Mambo ya rangi, tuko limited kwa hiyo rangi tuko nayo. So I have very few colors that I actually work with recycled glass, but they're quite strong, quite vibrant, quite kind of poppy African colors. So that's a Kenyan thing. The skill, the guys in here are unparalleled, and girls, I should say now. Yes. So they've taken this traditionally hugely difficult craft, and it is properly difficult. They did a global job survey on difficulty of jobs in the actual artisanal process, and air traffic control was number 1. This was in Holland years ago, and glass blowing was number 2. So it's an incredibly difficult job to do. And these guys are handling it, and they're handling it not just by being glassmakers, but they're making these things with recycled window glass, which isn't designed for handwork. So it's making a hard thing harder. So actually, they've taken something that's traditionally difficult, they've added a layer of difficulty, and here they are dancing through it.
That's literally what they're doing. They're dancing through it. And having been here and done this for so many years, is it being translated? Is this an industry that is growing now in the country from when it started? That's many, many years ago. And so to where it's at right now, what is the growth rate of that? What does it look like?
I wouldn't speak to, a specific growth rate, but yes. I mean, I think our mission of embedding glass into the Kenyan craft environment has sort of succeeded. Now I'm looking further afield. I want to build the African glass tradition, or at least create a fertile ground for it to grow on. And so to that regard, we do a lot of training and exercises to expose our systems and techniques. To speak to actual growth, there are glassmakers in Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya, all of whom have come through these doors. And so, yes, it's growing. And I think our main thing in the beginning, other than embedding the craft and sort of shouting out about it, and, you know, here it is, and why should you buy a tumbler for 1,000 bob when, you know, you can get it at Nakumat, ex-Nakumat for 50? Because now you can understand the mark of the artisan, the uniqueness, the fact that it's actually soul. You're buying a piece of somebody's output that is visibly their output and visibly unique, and so that makes you feel good too. There was something else I was going to say. Yes, so the growth of not just blowing, but using recycled glass or glass in toto, but mostly recycled in other ways. So, like our waste from our products, if we do a thing called funky fencing, which is we blow plates like you saw, and we cut shapes out of them and we fit them into a metal filigree and create, perhaps you'll see on your rounds or on our website, some butterflies and dragonflies and other insects that's part of our funky fencing collection. That has a waste element, so because you're cutting things out of a plate, we then would take those scrap pieces and give them to a guy up the road who makes wind chimes for us. And so there's a completely zero waste. Even if there's the smallest fragment of stuff that you can't repurpose into something, we grind that into glass sand and then use that in the simiti that we cast all our dalle de verre with.
Yeah, I've seen a whole ramp. I was going up a ramp with glass all over it, which was absolutely beautiful. When you talk about the money aspect of things, and you mentioned how because of the craft that is put in, the creativity in there, and the amount of work of even taking care of the environment, as a client, as the customers in this country, have we opened up to that? Are we buying into this dream and, you know, walking the journey of making this environment and the earth in general a safer place to be in?
I think it's baby steps. I think largely what we sell is more identity related than virtue affiliated, if you will. Although that leads us to the process. At some point, you will realize that, you know, even though I love this shiny thing and I watched it get made and it pleases me because of whatever, the color or the curves or the individuality, at some point it's going to sink in that this was made from taka-taka and that actually that's really... It's a slow process, but I think it's happening. And I mean, when we started, it wasn't recycle because that's the better thing to do. It was recycle because it was practical. It was recycle because that's the material we had. I built my own furnaces in the beginning, and I couldn't build a furnace that would get hot enough to actually melt the sand and soda. I could only just get to 1100, which is enough to melt recycled glass and work it, albeit it's not quite hot enough, but anyway.
The difference of creating this glass from scratch and being able to just recycle, why not go the other route? Why choose the route of just recycling the glass that is probably waste from buildings or waste from our homes or waste from because we've thrown our soda bottles in the environment? Why take that direction instead of creating from scratch for Kitengela hot glass?
Practicality, basically. Accessibility to raw material. And actually there's ways of, so I could make my own, they call it long glass. So it's very plastic. I can play with it for minutes at a time on the bench with it still being movable and workable. I could take the window glass that we use and change its recipe a little bit. I could add, extra soda ash or something to make it more plastic. But my thinking was that actually I want to simplify this whole process, and I want to actually rejig the working process rather than the material, so that we've got very easy, practical materials gathered from wherever, thrown into the furnace, and then our sort of signature, slightly rougher, slightly faster working style then can make it into something. It's simplicity, it's practicality, it's pragmatics, it's actually, I think, important, and then of course it's recycling and all that, but it just simplifies the whole kind of approach to what is essentially a very complex process anyway. Yeah.
And I saw a question online saying, someone asking, how easy or difficult is it to get these glasses? Do you ever run out?
No, not yet. I mean, actually, I have calls every day from people trying to sell me glass. It doesn't have a hugely high value as scrap material. I mean, I think it's 1,000 bob a ton kind of thing, which is not a lot when you're considering, moving it around and the logistics. But no, currently not. We're doing a lot of building in Kenya, and so everybody, if you buy a piece of glass for your house or office or whatever, it will be cut out of a stock sheet, and the rest of that stock sheet, or the swarf, or the bit from the end, won't get stored. It'll get trashed because actually it's more expensive to store it and try and find a use for a small piece than it is just to kind of get rid of it and start with a new one. So the raw material is essentially very cheap. That's in the window glass. I'm going to put a call for green bottles. I'm going to have and need a little bit more green bottles than I have at the moment. I've got it's a baseline for a couple of our colors that I want to use. So we have a sort of informal method of collecting. I've got a couple of bottle banks around the country, but it's logistics. So I'm going to up that, actually. We've just had a meeting about that yesterday.
Okay, great. You've created this. This place is not like, and I've seen it on your website, that it's not just a product. It's not just a place that you go to. It's a whole experience. And you experience that from the onset. Like when you drive in, when you're walking in, it's a whole experience. And now it's expanded. There's cafe, there's places you can stay. What is the whole plan with that of incorporating glass blowing and also sort of like a getaway place for Kenyans?
So we've been at the end of a very rough road for the last...
That is very, very true.
For the last 50 years, 30-something of which we've been glassblowing. Yeah. Actually, one of the questions is, why are you people at the end of this terrible road when you make such a delicate product? And our frequently answered answer is that if it makes it down that road, it'll make it anywhere on the planet. So...
making this whole place holistic.
So what's happened? I mean, like it's all been organic. The cafe grew out of a need. I have people visit down our very bad road, and they come in. They're like, you can't even buy a cup of coffee here. Please put a coffee machine, or I'd like to have a pizza or something. So
I don't want to go back home.
The Airbnbs are our family home, and so I'm now repurposing rather than have them just sort of lie fallow into dynamic spaces that can be used and loved and lived, and again, at the end of the very bad road, we want to kind of provide a kind of catch-all so that you can come and immerse yourself completely in what we do and how we are and who we are.
And the other part of the experience that we love to experience but still fear it is the famous bridge. Famous bridge coming in from this side. What was the intention of that, and was it created by Kitengela Hot Glass?
The bridge is my mum's brainchild. She had an agreement with Mr. John Keane, who owned Maasai Lodge across the way, And it was a romantic notion. I've got a gorge, I want to put a bridge across it. And actually it's turned into, it's kind of iconic, actually. It's a real thing. There's a lot of people have tested their fears on that bridge.
I definitely have. When we talk about the different pieces that are created here, and there's quite a variety, would you say there's a particular piece that's the most difficult to create? Have you ever gotten probably a commission on a piece that is absolutely unthinkable when you think about making it, but then eventually probably just made it or something close to it?
Mostly when that happens, we say, yeah, we can do that.
I'm commissioning you to do my face. And then you say yes.
Turn around and panic. And work out a way to do it. That's actually, it's been a sort of teaching process for us, is to accept almost any challenge and then try and do it, and fail sometimes. On complexity and variety and output, it's very hard to say. I mean, because we do things like 70,000 piece murals, and so there's an element of complexity in there just in.
How many murals?
70,000 pieces in the mural. So or like a simple bead, and so it's everything from the bead to the mural and in between. So a very complex blown object, or a large sculptural piece that uses a lot of elements from here. So I did a couple of chandeliers for a place in Russia, in Kazan, which were huge and complex, and actually that was tough to do because they wanted, the first one we took there and installed ourselves, and the second one they wanted to do themselves. So guiding them through a kind of IKEA process, but in, you've got 1,000 pieces of glass in front of you and every single one looks kind of the same. Yeah. I had to do a YouTube video, and then they played that in reverse to try and
put it back together.
Yeah.
And if that got to Russia from here, this room has nothing on anything that is produced here. We're going to take a very short commercial break at this particular point. Don't go too far. Remember, the question that we are asking you today is, what is the other name for glass blowing? When we come back, Ansel will still be here, and we'll find out what is the answer to that question. It is NTV Kenya on all our social media platforms. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. So we're in the last few minutes of the show, and that is Your World on this trendy Thursday. And boy, have we learned the entire process of glass making from scratch to finish. And now that you saw what was happening on the other side, I want to call it the Fanny's room. We are in a different setup to show you the finished products of what you can expect or anticipate to see after that very hot process. And Ansel was telling us, listen, it's a very intricate, delicate process that you said takes how long ideally for someone to learn?
Anywhere from 3 years to infinity. So, or as long as they live.
As long as they live, yeah. So for you, if you're thinking, okay, I'll just go there one day, I'll learn the entire process, and by the time I'm coming out of Kitangela Glass, you'll be a pro. No, it takes a lot of time. And also the question that we asked you today, and that is, what is the other name of glass blowing or blowing glass? Okay. Our socials are at NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on X. And as we finish, someone here says, this is Ashley Benito, who says, another name for glass blowing is cryogenic. Ansel.
Negative.
The expert, Mr. Negative. No, that's not it. But Ansel, you said, so you want to hand this over to Tom, right? But what is that one thing, before you even go, that you want our viewer to walk out of? From this conversation today, as far as glass blowing and the understanding the intricate process and the creativity and, what it takes by the time we see beautiful pieces such as what we have here, what would you say?
The message that we would have is that this is part of us. This is part of the Kenyan craft. This is us. Yeah. living in art or working in art is something someone just said to me. So.
Yeah. All right. I want to put you to task because we've come into your space and we've learned so much about glass blowing and all those things, yeah? So I want you to come into my space as a presenter, and I want you to say goodbye to the people watching us. Your camera is theirs in Swahili.
Asanteni wa jamaa, nimeshukuru kabisa na tutaonana baadaye.
Fantastic. I thought you were going to say.
Wacha nikupatie Tom, my right-hand man, to take over from here.
Thank you so much, Ansel. We've learned so much. And now I'm curious. I want to come and learn. I really want to. Because I've seen two ladies, right? Yeah, maybe next time. Because Tom was like, you need to see the finished product. So he saved myself. Someone actually pointed out something about your T-shirts. It says what?
Turn around.
That is it.
Kiss my glass. I wonder what was the idea behind it.
We kiss glass. We make glass, we kiss glass.
Absolutely. With a blowing process. Thank you so much, Ansel. So Tom, we've seen the entire process. We've seen what it takes. We've seen, and we've talked about so many things from the safety aspect to everything else, right? So can we talk about sustainability in this case? Because you guys use recycled glass, unlike other people who would actually do sand, right? And then the entire process. Can we talk about the sustainability aspect of it? And also, how good is it for the environment in terms of recycling glass?
It's our core thing. Environment matters a lot to us. And you can imagine we melt 1 ton of scrap glass. That is how much we save the environment.
How often do you do that?
Daily.
Every single day. Melt 1 ton.
Yes, our furnaces are thirsty.
Yeah.
We need glass.
Yes.
And we're running 2 furnaces. Yeah. And one furnace is about 550 kg, 550, so 1.1 ton of scrap glass is saved from the environment daily.
So you do the math, eh? You do the math. Yes. And also, you have an amazing story yourself. You didn't just happen to bounce ukajipata haya Kitengela glass, right? You have an amazing story. Can we go back to what got yourself into this space and to how far you've come?
First, when I was in college, actually, one day, I watched this on a TV, and if I'm not wrong, NTV. Okay. And they were airing the bridge. Yes. And I said, oh, that's a fancy bridge. And then I left it at that point. Okay. Then I moved to Angatarangai, to a friend, and I stayed there. And then one day I decided to take a walk. Okay. Then I found a path with some artistic sculptures and all that. That kept me going down the road. Okay. Then I found myself here, and I watched glassblowing and all that stuff, and I went back home. I never thought of a job or something. I just went back home. And then one day I said, no, that place is incredibly beautiful. It would be worth working in that place. Yeah. Maybe I should apply. Yes. So I came here and applied for a job, and then I was hired as a shop, front shop. Okay. Just helping the cleaning of the glass and selling the glass. Okay. Then later, I was thrown into a deeper process. Yeah. And then I learned customer service and all that stuff, and into workshop, glass blowing, and the business side of it. And I was nurtured, trained, and uplifted, and I grew into who I am today, running this same business. And actually, something very important to note is that is what Kitengela is. It's about nurturing people. Kitengela cares about its people, nurturing the people, and making you who you are, because we have a deep culture of mentorship. I like that.
Because we've seen two ladies actually, glass blowing, and I'm like, that's very fascinating. So hello, equality, we're getting there.
We are really proud of the two ladies, having the two ladies blowing glass. Yeah. I think it is the first thing happening here in Africa. We might have a few in Europe and in America, but it's the first of a kind here in Kenya. And it shows that ladies can also do it.
Oh, absolutely. Give them the opportunity and see what they can do.
It's part of nurturing the talent. This place is not just about hiring people. It's about nurturing the talents, growing them, making them become the artists. We started off as 3 artisans, and we've grown now to over 80 professionals in here, trained here, nurtured here. Yes.
That's fascinating. Now, so you as an individual, having been in this space for how long now?
15 years.
15 years. So 15 years, have you tried making glass? Yes.
Really? So when I was still very new, the guys make it look so simple. Yes. And I looked at them, I watched them, and I said, this is just playing with hot glass. I would sit on this bench. So I pulled one of the experts and said, look, I want to blow this thing. And I said, it's not as easy as you think. And I said, no, it's just gathering this hot glass and blowing it to the pipe. So, so I was like, welcome. Sit, have a seat. So I pulled the glass. I did well from pulling the glass, but then something in between. I did not know that it is hot glass and it's very soft. It pours down. Yes. So I did not roll it on the bench, because you need to roll it on the bench to keep the forces. So I was like, landed the pipe on the bench, and the glass was down.
Everything went down.
I was disappointed, but then I was showed the way.
How many have you made so far?
Quite a few. Yeah, quite a few. I'm so much into the management part of it, which is taking a lot of my time. But yes, I can sit on the bench. I can mold something beautiful.
So what is that unique piece that you have in your house that nobody else in this entire country has? You made.
Every single piece from Kitengela is unique. Yes. And no piece is the same. Actually, if I make you a piece today, and your friend comes to your house and comes to me with a photo, and I want this, I want this. Yes, we will make something similar, but not the same. So I have a flower vase on my table. Yeah. I think it's one of the unique pieces, because it was made by me and one of the artisans, and because of learning, it is a bit combo. It's not very perfect. It is not very. It's not very perfect. I regard it as a very unique piece I have in my. I think a unique piece I have in there. I think not in Kenya, world.
Yeah. In the entire world, you heard that from him. So you said no two particular pieces are the same. So, and we have a lot of pieces over here, and even just looking at them, I can see, some pieces that yes, they actually look similar, but they're not the same. Do you want to hold some and maybe show our audience what we mean by, when we say no two pieces are actually the same? Yeah, okay. Which one have you identified? Whichever you, yes. Okay, all right.
Both round whiskey or wine glasses or water glasses. Yeah. The other one is fatter.
And it's more round.
And it's more round. Yes. This is a bit slim, yes, but they're meant to be the same object. So if you want to buy a dozen, which is 12 pieces, this will be in the mix. And that is the uniqueness about Kitengela, because, and it's lovely, because if you have your glass, if supposing we are sitting with you on a table and you have this glass and I have this, you can't sort of change me. I know what my glass is. Yeah, that Michela thing, huh? So this Kitengela piece will save you.
I like that. And is that deliberate? Is that intentional? Or since it's handmade, so you don't expect them to be perfect?
No, it's handmade. It's something that just comes out by itself. You can't. You have no power over it. We have a 15 manpower bench there. We have Francis gathering glass. We have Karani gathering glass. We have Gashui gathering glass. These are 3 different people. So, and you can't quantify the amount of glass that you're picking. It's really the experience that they think that this is enough to blow a glass. This is enough to blow a tumbler. This is enough to blow a jug. Or this is enough to blow a piece of vase or something. And interestingly, before, Kenyans did not appreciate the art, and now that has changed. People appreciate art. They don't care about the size, the perfection. Before, people would come and no, this is not the same. I don't like this. Can we get the same glasses? So then, but now with time, people are appreciating art, which is a good thing. They appreciate art. They love what we are doing, and the uniqueness about our glass is really a thing.
You know what? So there's something. My eye. You were talking, but my eye hit that one. Is that a sink?
Yes, it is.
I mean, it's heavy. I want to believe. Yeah. Look at these. What is the idea behind it? Like this is beautiful.
Yes, making a sink for we have different camps in Kenya. We have different hotels, lodges, and they need unique pieces. They don't want to buy ceramic things. They want to buy something unique, which is glass. People like glass. Yes. So then, yes, we design different things here. We have thousands variety of items that we produce.
That is beautiful. I mean, yes, and look at the chandeliers as well. Look at this. It's a lot of things here. Can we talk about the durability? Because someone might say, so you're already using glass, so you're recycling glass that was already made. So out of curiosity, one might ask, so does it mean that once, because that one went through a process, ikaekwa ndani ya furnace, ikachomwa, ikakuwa melted, and then, the glass was made, and then it comes to you, and then you do, yes. So does that like lessen the quality, durability, whole aspect of it that someone might be curious about?
It doesn't, actually. Glass is glass. It's like we say, glass is from sun silica. It's natural. Yeah. So you pick it from the state where it is and melt it. It gives you back the same quality. And our glass is thicker. You realize it's heavier. It's thicker, and that actually makes it more durable. It's not a very thin, light glass. And if I allow me to test something, so this is a glass. Yeah, that is our glass.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Sometimes it drops down, and I pick it back to the shelf, bang it. Yeah.
Dude, what? Wow, you know what? Now that makes sense, because a friend of mine actually, when we put out the poster that we'll be coming to Kitengela Glass, and he told me, he actually texted me and said they have glasses from you and have lasted 13 years, and now seeing you do this.
Testimonies. Yeah, I have emails coming in, a couple saying that we've used your glass over 40 years. We've used glass over 60 for the glass. We've lived over 70 years. We've used your glasses for this was passed on from my grandmother, and now I have your glass, that old style. Sadly, I broke it. Can you make me one? And we find out sometimes it's a very old glass that we started making as just a hobby when this place started. And so yeah, it lasts forever. So long as you don't break it, then you live with this glass forever.
Wow. So wow, I am blown away. So what is it that you'd want people to know? Because there's several facets to what we're talking about today in terms of durability, good quality, environmentally friendly, because you're recycling materials. Can we talk about the impact of what you're doing here to the community around you and even to the entire population? Because again, like you say, if you're recycling and you're melting 1.1 tons of glass every single day, calculate that by the end of the month, and then by the end of the year, that's a lot. So how much impact would you say, by the mere fact that we have a glass blowing, I want to say plant at this point because it's a lot that you're doing, contributes to the environment and to the communities, local communities around you?
Glass is, glass blowing and glass is a different art. And fortunately or unfortunately, we don't have many glass blowing companies in Africa, Kenya, but fortunately we are here. And we grow this talent, we nurture this talent. This comes with different impacts. It has created first the employment. It's growing the creativity because like I said, the staff we have here is over 80 are trained here. So it makes the art alive. And this is one thing we want to do and do more. We want to create a vocational school here. We want to create an academy here. And it has also shown the world that people who did not follow the academic path, like the artisans, some of the artisans that we have here, can still make a living and can leave a legacy through glass art.
I like that. And also creativity, because there's so many creative, pieces that I can see here. So I'm pretty sure there's a creative who's watching us, at home and thinking, how do I make, glass? And also, can you talk a bit about the cost aspect? Because if you bank that glass, na haija break, someone would be like, hey, that must be tens of thousands of shillings. So what does the cost aspect look like?
I think it's a very competitive price. Blown glass is generally expensive all over the world, and we try and keep our prices as competitive as possible.
Yeah.
Yes. And money is really not a thing for us.
And especially when you consider what you're getting in terms
Correct.
I like that. I can see Mikali is like, Mimi, I am shopping. Oh, look at this piece behind you. Look at that. That is so beautiful. Look at that. Mikali has been shopping. What do you have? Look at the way she's holding. You are going to break people's stuff. Look at that.
That's a handbag. It is a handbag.
And it fits your phone.
It does.
And I'm sure it will fit makeup.
Yes, all that stuff.
Yeah. Nimekuja. Nimefika na nina message.
Message nini?
Message ni ya baba mzazi. My dad is watching. So hi, Mr. Mtua. Dad is saying that nice show, first of all. So congratulations to you, Winnie. And the team as well. Says, I have a glass from this place and I bought it there with some colleagues many years ago. So I asked him, what was the year that you got it? He says, 2010. I asked, Dad, do you still have it? Then he says, naitumianga mara moja kwa moja. And naitumia mara moja kwa moja. So 2010, Dad still has a glass that she got here. Yeah.
Hey, did you see him banging this?
I did. I screamed.
I was like, yeah. You were going to break. What? I know you have so many questions for him.
I do.
Yes,
I do. And I think for the question, I think there's something else. And it opens up, Winnie. You can do what? Oh my God. Yeah. You have such amazing pieces in here, and I'm wondering what happens then for someone who's watching this show. Na kwao ni Nanyuki, Laikipia County. Is it possible to get these pieces there? Do you have outlets all over the country, or do they have to come here to get these pieces, Tom?
We have people sitting at the balcony in New York City.
Umesema wapi? Ati wapi? Wanakaa kwa balcony wapi?
Sitting comfortably at their balcony in New York City. Yes. They go online, www.kitengela.com, shop, DHL, bam, at your door.
Okay,
so imagine, I know, I'm sorry.
Did you come and tell me conversation? Because now I just want to close my eyes.
Now and just be like, see, do you feel that?
I do.
Now I just want to be sitting yes!
Don't be scared.
Tom, I think you're being a bit rough. Protect it, Winnie.
Rough with our strong glass.
Oh my goodness. So you're saying Kitengela, what was that website again?
www.kitengela.com. And we have an online shop. You can buy, add it to your DHL if you are out of the country, or Fargo Courier.
Wherever you are in the world.
It will come to you. You don't have to come here.
Masikia uko nyumbani. You're well taken care of. You're well taken care of. And you know, as we come to the end of this conversation, kwa sababu naona muda umeyoyoma kweli kweli, lakini hii handbag nimebeba. Inatumika, is it like tukupanda maua? Kwa sababu nimeshachoka. Mimi ni mtu nimechoka. It's very heavy, but this is just like a decorative piece. So people can commission you to do whatever it is that they want, because I mean, I could just have a fantasy of having my face on the wall.
Yeah, correct. We accept challenges. Sometimes we agree to things that we've never made before in our entire life. Then you bring it to us. I want my face. I want this and that and that. Okay, fine. And then we give it a try. Sometimes we fail. Sometimes we win.
That's life.
I think that's the most powerful thing I've had. We make some and we lose some. I saw a painting right there. There's a dog. There's a puppy. Maybe if you can just get it for us. It looks like a painting. Like it. Ndakwambia aje Winnie. Yeah, glass. Near bow. Mabel at the very end of that table. At the very table. Can you see it? Yes, please. Winnie. Look at that. Look at that.
It's a lamp work. This is a lamp work. So you have pieces. You can draw your pieces. You can draw it on a glass, cut it out, and then introduce it to this flat glass. you can just carefully place your pieces that you have already cut out, and then introduce it to a certain temperature.
All right.
So it slumps down.
Yeah.
It looks like you introduce it to a temperature that is about to melt, but it's not.
Oh, I see.
Then it's simple.
So then what I'm getting is it's not just about cutting and blowing and new glass. No, there's a lot of other things going on here.
There's a lot in it.
So we can draw a picture of my puppy back at home, called Bo, and then have him like, this is so cute.
So cut out letters. Bo.
Yeah. There you have it.
Yeah, Winnie, I think that's a good point to Maliza his show. This is where we say kwaheri, but that is very beautiful. Thank you, Tom. You all have been so accommodative. You've been amazing. You have taught us many things. Winnie has faced a fear. Aliweza kukaribia furnace. Alikaribia.
Next one and the next one should be the bridge now. Test your fears.
I did the bridge. I have done the bridge and I was like, but really managed. Now I want to sit on the bench and do that thing. You know? Yes.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yes, welcome.
Right?
I want you to come and make your own piece.
Yes.
Yeah, come and challenge yourself here.
Yes. I like that. Okay, so we say goodbye.
Asanteni sana. Nimefurahia sana kwa host siku ya leo. You came in when it was a bit wet.
Yeah.
It is hot here.
Yes.
And we are where we are now. And I think let this craft live. We want to keep it alive.
Asante sana. Yes. Asante sana, Tom. Tunashukuru. Aya, sawa. Haya. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Your World on Trendy Thursday. Na tunasema nini?
Bye.
Kwaheri.